Well, hello my friends and welcome back to the bench. Today we're going to be going over thinning lacquer paints for your airbrush. I get this question a lot. A lot of people having trouble, struggling. 9 times out of 10, it's just not thinned enough. You can thin this stuff right down to water consistency. And also it depends on the needle size, where you don't have to thin it as much. So, I'm going to go over that as basically as I can. And in front of me is what I have in my room here. That is lacquer paints that need to be thinned to go into the airbrush. The Kaizo line. This is Sun & 7 Oticon E7. Almost it's like a direct copy of Gaia. Lacquer paint from Tamiya. This is my thinner. This is my primer from Robot Kai, very thick, so I'll show you how to thin that stuff out. AK, Real Colors. This is an acrylic lacquer, the same as, let me grab it now, same as Tamiya. It says acrylic, but the flame logo, it's an acrylic lacquer. You're going to thin it the same way, as is Aqueous is also an acrylic lacquer. I just grabbed this off the wall. This is Mr. Color. It's all the same. Most of it's the same consistency. I just grabbed one because I had 2 of these, so I figured let's use that. This is my new line of paint from Robot Kai. You see my name right there. This is Lithium Lilac. It's also a pretty thick paint. This is Moto. Gaia. We all know Gaia. Display. Jump Wind. Finishers. Let's go in the back here. Look at the size of this bottle. Custom Creative. This has no instructions as to how thin it. Some say how much to thin, some say don't. But we're going to show you. You're not going to need instructions. This is Inspire. And I believe Inspire is Airbrush Ready. Let's see if I can see this. Yeah, these are Airbrush Ready for a larger size airbrush. These are auto grade. So I'm going to show you in between what to do. Now these are airbrush ready. All right, let's go over these. You don't have to thin these at all. Splash. Hobby Mio. Street Blisters. There's probably more of these. This is just what I happen to have in my studio here. Gravity. SMS. Airbrush Ready. My Mecha Empire line from Splash. Airbrush Ready. Here is that paint, actually. Sprayed on my leg sample. More on that in a little bit. Stay tuned to the end of the video. We have Outlaw paint. And a Buster's Custom Colors. You can see right there how thin that is, so that's ready to go. These are all airbrush ready. So we are going to put these aside, because sometimes people ask about certain brands and you don't have to thin them. They're ready to go. Okay, so as far as thinner goes, let's push these back. I'm going to push the thinners forward. You can have to use whatever thinner you got. I recommend a hobby grade thinner like my own, which will be back in stock extremely soon. It's on its way in right now. It'll be in hopefully in a matter of a week or 2. I'll keep you guys posted. Anyway, these hobby thinners are not as hot as, let me show you, as these lacquer thinners. Now you can use this, but what happens is it dries really fast. There's no room for error, and it's a very hot, so you can't spray it on plastic. If you're going to use this, you got to spray on a good primer, maybe a double-coated primer. That's how hot some of these are. And what happens is it dries so fast, there's no room for error, whereas my leveling thinner or Mr. Color's leveling thinner, leveling means it slows it down. Even though it's still fast, it slows it down enough that the paint smooths itself out. If it's rough, looks orange peely, most of the time it will stretch itself and pull itself down and level itself, hence the leveling thinner. So, is what I got. I have plenty of thinners. You're not going to believe this collection of thinner I have. This is from Moto, Display, Mr. Hobby Leveling, Mr. Hobby Regular, Gaia. I have like 4 different Gaias. What we have here? Who is this? Jump Wind, Otakon, E7, Tamiya, and mine. And I got Robot Kai's. That's over here behind me. So this is what I have. I think I have even more behind me. I have SMS. I don't know why SMS makes one, but SMS also has their own in a jar. It's a lacquer. So yeah, you can use any of these across the board. I usually have no problems mixing and matching lacquer thinners. It's usually based off the same chemicals. Some will put retarders in it, some won't. The Rapid Thinner, which is behind me, that's for, let me grab it. Rapid Thinner, this is for metallics. It dries really quick, and it leaves the metallic flakes closer to the surface, because when you're using a leveling thinner and a retarder, the metal flake in the paint will actually sink a bit from the top, not giving it as great as a sheen, whereas the Rapid Thinner dries pretty close to instantly, leaving the flake not enough time to sink, giving it more of a metallic sheen look to it. And Gaia also makes one too. Theirs is called Metallic Master. All right, so I'm going to clear off this bench, and I'm going to go over the consistency here. And it doesn't matter which one of these I choose. And like I said, you can use the one from the hardware store, but you got to make sure it's going on top of a primer, a really good primer, like doubled up coated a primer, because I don't know how hot each one is. Hot by meaning, more intense chemical. Might sometimes will burn through. But if you're using an auto grade type of primer, my primer is actually pretty durable. You won't have a problem. But it will flash off quickly. I mean, like the Rapid Thinner, it's gonna be just like the Rapid Thinner. It's gonna be fast. So if you're gonna get a couple of bubbles or a little wavy in it, it might just stay right there. Whereas the leveling thinners and my leveling thinner will give you a little bit of a slower process. Not even that much slower, but enough that it pulls the paint down and levels off. So that's the difference there. So let me pause this camera. Let me get these off the bench, and let's get the thinning these out. All right, I got some gloves on for this because I'm going back and forth here with these paints. So we're going to get some stir sticks. I cut mine in half. Mixing cups. These are the best. No little notches in the bottom. There's some that have these notches, and as you stir it, it flicks the stick and makes the paint go flying. So I get these. I have nothing in the bottom. They're my favorite, one of my favorite items on the bench for sure. I use them daily. But I'm going to show you through a shot glass what we're talking about here. I don't measure anymore. It's just from my site. You guys can do the same. After a day of this, you should just be using your eyesight, and that's it. Truth be known, you can't over thin this lacquer paint. I mean, you can thin it down to water. All right, this is water. It can look just like this. It's still going to spray absolutely perfect. This is the standard bearer. This is skim milk or 2%. I don't even know what I got upstairs, but it's not whole. But you see, it's a slightly thicker texture than the water, and the bigger the needle, we're going to show you bigger needles. You can go even thicker than this. That's what it also depends upon, even though you could still use the same ratio for all. I like to use the milk to show you guys that when I'm tipping it here and I go back, it leaves a little coating on the glass. That's what I look for when I'm mixing it in the cup, and I pull it up the side. If it leaves a little trail of something of the pigments behind, you're also good to go. So it's good to use the milk to show you guys what I'm talking about. See it right there? So that's a good consistency, and you can go all the way down the water, no problem at all. If it looks like this, by eyes, stirring it in the cup, you're good. It doesn't matter. It's not over thinned. Under thinning's a problem. That's when you're going to get a little chunky, a little struggling through the airbrush. Over thinning, yeah, it's not going to matter. It might be too thin where you put, 90% thinner, then it's just going to run out, run right off the piece. But anyway, you can go up to 70%. Three parts paint, 7 parts thinner, and it should spray fine. You should have no problem at all. Now I'm not going to spray all of them. I'm just going to show you how we're going to thin them, but I'm going to show you the 3 airbrushes, all right? This is my GSI Creo. This is my 270 point. It's a 0.2 millimeter needle. This is my Badger Patriot. This is a 0.5. And my Swallowtail Barbatos-Rex airbrush. This I have installed. It comes with it in the box. My 0.7. This is where you don't have to thin as much. If you're spraying a thicker paint, you can probably thin it not as far as we're going to go here and shoot it through that. If you're going to use my airbrush with a 0.7 for primers, perfect. You can lay it down a little thicker and not thin as much. For cleaning the airbrush, you don't want to use your good thinner. Use that hardware store thinner in the can, and use that to clean out the airbrush, and you won't have a problem. As far as these, I don't know which ones I want to show you. I'll show you my primer, because my primer is really thick, and my new anodized paint line here from Robot Kai is also pretty thick. Well, not as thick as I thought. Beautiful color. Back in stock, by the way. So, let's go ahead. These caps always drive me crazy. And get that plastic cap off. There we go. All right, so I'm going to show you how thick this paint is. This is very thick. That's why we're going to start with this. See it? And the black is even thicker. I'm not showing the black because I think it's out of stock, and I don't think it's fair to show you guys a color that's not in stock. All right, so that is thick. The black is like mud. Let me see if I can show you the black. Hold on, guys. Sold out right away when it came back in stock, so. Oops. Same thing with that cap. Hold on. Grab it by the edge here. There we go. All right, let me get another stick. All right. Look at this. All right. Mega thick. And this one is almost, it's a little thinner. Maybe I will show you the black because it's just so thick. Let's put this aside. All right, we're going to take some of this. This is really thick. I'm going to show you how you can thin this down to almost nothing. This is going to be definitely a 70. Cap this up. This is definitely going to be a 70, 30%. 70% paint, 30% thinner. All right, I'm going to go ahead, move Iron Maiden out. Oh, I don't know where oh, here they are. I'll put Iron Maiden back up. Let me get a toothpick here, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. We're going to make sure we get all the paint off of the stick. So here we go. See it? That's how thick it is. It just sticks right to the stirring stick. There it is. It's like molasses. Look at it. So here we go. We'll go ahead. I'll show you this as the first one we're going to thin. Grab your pipette. Now, I'm just guessing. I'm just going to pour a ton of thinner in here. That's a complete guess. All right, it was half a pipette. But you saw what I put in, just a couple of drips of this paint. So you saw that I put a majority of thinner, and now look at this. We are down. It's down to consistency of the pre-thin ones, even a little, still not even enough. You can go even further than that, but look how far we took our paint. That one jar is going to go a long, long way. All right, this one here, we're going to pull it up, and you see how it's going to leave a trail behind? Even if it leaves a slight trail behind, you're looking good. All right, this will actually spray perfectly, and we over-thin that. Okay, well, I have to put the cap on that. We're going to use it again. All right, so that is a super thick paint. I can use any of these. Let me put the cap on this gray one here while we are talking. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pick another one. I don't know what to pick. I'll pick a common one. Maybe this Tamiya, because this is a common paint. All right, let me grab another stir stick. Now you can see the paint has separated a bit there. So we're going to go in. Now Tamiya is actually, I should use my paint shaker. What am I doing? My mixer on the bottom. See, because I'm showing you guys the paint. So I'm kind of working a little backwards here, but this blends up pretty quickly. Yeah, there we go. Now this is on the thin side. See, we're getting the little drips? Whereas the other one actually stood on the stick. I still want to thin this. I'm going to hold the stick to the side of the jar, and the paint will guide itself down from the stick. That's it. And just, drop your stick right in, and that leaves your jar there and pretty clean. All right, so still on the thick side. See, that's why I wore gloves. So it's still on the thick side, not like my other one I just showed you, but it's coating the bottom, not like running down. So with this, we are still going to go ahead with, I'm not even going to put a ratio. I'm just going to throw a bunch of thinner in there because I want to show you guys how easy this is. All right, let's go a little more than that. All right, so I'm going to show you that you can't over thin it. That's almost the same amount I put in the other one. All right, so here we go. We're going to blend this up. You can put this in jars and shake it too if you want. I use a lot of cups because I do so many tests for you guys that I go through it quite a bit. I ended up cleaning the jars out constantly, so these help me get through this quicker. Now we're into the same consistency as the black one, and that was just a guess. All right, see it? I'm going to pull this up in the cup. It's going to leave a trail behind. We are good. You can even go thinner than that, but with Tamiya, this is probably perfect. You can also thin this with 91% alcohol. Make sure it's 91%. Now, the only ones you're going to use alcohol with are Tamiya, AK, and Aqueous. And if it says an acrylic lacquer, that's what you're going to use. You can use the alcohol. Other than that, do not use these three. Other than that, don't use the... I'm going to show. I have an acrylic lacquer from another brand. Let me show you that. This is Mr. Paint. They call it Mr. Paint. It's MRP. It's from Lithuania. As a matter of fact, I should have put this out here. It's a pre-thinned paint. And these are pre-thinned, but it's another one that's an acrylic lacquer. It says right on it. Acrylic lacquer paint for airbrush. So we'll put that with the airbrush ready paints. I forgot one. See that? All right, so that's one right there. And we'll pick another one. I don't know who we're going to pick here. I'm going to pick the common ones for you guys. So, Mr. Color. Let's grab another stir stick. All right. Here's my coffee stirrers. I like to break them in half with this wire cutter because sometimes it leaves little splinters, and I don't want splinters getting in the paint. So hold them, split them, right? Keeps it a little neater. So we're going to go in here. Now we're going to mix this one up. Again, I should have used my paint shaker, but we'll go with this. This is separated. You can see how separated it is. Watch, I'll put the pigments on top of the paint. See it? So this one's been sitting for a bit. I have 2 jars, so maybe I picked up the one I haven't used yet. But this is on the thicker side, right? Not as much as mine, but it's up there. All this ratio will work with all of them. The Gaia is another popular one. I could have showed you the Gaia. Gaia is usually on this consistency, or actually a little thicker than Mr. Color. So we're going to clean off the stick and go to the side here. Let's pull it out for you guys. There we go. Now another thing someone's going to ask me, what about if I have some left over? Can I pour it back in? Absolutely. Just make sure the jar is on nice and tight. You absolutely can go ahead and pour the remaining paint back in. All right, let's go again. Another guess. I'm just going to pour a bunch of paint in there just to show you. We can go with a bunch. I'll even over thin it to show you that it's still going to come out. Look how much thinner I put. All right. Let me cap this off. Here we go. All right. So I'll thin this one quite a bit. And what we'll do is The thinner the paint, we're going to put it in the smallest needle-sized airbrush, is what we'll do. Even though I got everything pretty well consistency drawn down. But this is really thin, and we're still going to get a trail as I drag the paint up the side of the cup. And there's a consistency. This is more on the milk side of things than it is the water side. It's just, I can go even further. I just don't want you guys worrying that you're not thinning it enough, and you just put drops in and stir it. You can throw it right in. 50-50 is the minimum on a paint that's consistent with the ones I'm showing you. 50-50. You can go 50-50. 50% paint, 50% thinner. And if you're going to spray with the bigger nozzles, don't worry about thickness so much then. You can thin it a little less. Stick with the 50-50 from them on. If you got a 3 or a 2, go ahead and thin it way out like I do. But usually right down the middle, most people have a 0.3 or so sized airbrush. It's the average size needle. And with that, you can use this thinning ratio across the board. Don't worry about it. It's all by eye now. I just throw a bunch of thinner and I stir it. Everything you guys see me on camera, I'm blindly thinning it, and it all paints perfectly. So don't worry about it, but thin it enough is the problem many of you guys have. Let's go ahead and paint some of these colors, and I'll show you the results, how they come out consistently across the board. Okay, with the 0.2, the thinned out paint, I'm not going to spray the whole spoon. The 0.2 is pointless for that. I mean, you could do it. It'd take you a while like that. But this is for fine lines, so you're going to thin your paint out a ton, you know, probably in the 70-30 ratio. And this way you can come in, see if I can do it for you guys here, and get your fine lines. See, it's going to push the paint. Really nice lines. And you're good to go. Now, if you have a 0.2, this is probably what you're doing with it anyway. Fine lines. Running out of space here. And like I said, you could probably, if you want to, spray little pieces, But your 0.2 is going to be for this. And you're not going to struggle if you thin it right down like I showed you. So that is what you're going to do for the 0.2. Let me grab the 0.5 in another color. All right, next up we'll do this Tamiya Sky Blue. I grabbed the 0.5 Badger Patriot. People are going to ask what the PSI is. It looks like it's 18 to 20. I'm looking now as I press. It's bopping between 18 and 20 PSI. All right, let's go. There you go. So I get a lot of people wondering, it's too thin, it's going to run. It's not going to run. You're going to go about 5 inches apart here, depending on the size. If you get the smaller needle, you want to get in a little closer. So there is that. Now let me grab my primer and the even bigger needle, and we'll show you that. All right, guys, here is the primer. This is the thicker of the two I've already done, of the three. And still pretty thin, but we're going to go ahead and put that in our 0.7. All right, here we go. Obviously a 0.7. If you're priming, you'll be done in no time. And like I said, you don't have to thin it as much. I'm just trying to get that the visual for you guys. But not many have the 0.7, unless you have my airbrush, my Barbatos airbrush here, my Swallowtail. Then you do have the 0.7. You don't have to thin as much. But I'm just showing that you can thin that super thick paint down to nothing. And it's still going to perform. Might as well prime some spoons, as we always can use prime spoons here in the studio. All set. All right. Let me clean this out, and we'll head back to the bench, wrap this up. All right, my friends, back at the bench, and that is all you need to know. You get great results. You can't over thin this stuff. I mean, maybe if you just poured nothing but thinner and 2% of the paint. But this is thinned way out through the 0.2. This is through the 0.5, the Tamiya. And this is my super thick primer through the 0.7. And look how smooth and perfect that came out. So that is it. That's how you thin them. Don't worry about over thinning them. I mean, you better have them super thin than not thin enough. Then you're going to have trouble spraying it. Well, you won't have trouble at all. And if you did over thin it, should that happen, just go lighter layers. It won't run, but you might need a couple of extra layers to get the job done. And like I said, 3 of them you don't have to use thinner. You can use these three that I own anyway. You can use rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. Make sure it's 91%. Other than that, if it's a lacquer across the board, this system will work. If you need to put a glass of water so you can kind of see what you're looking at, or the milk consistency, skim milk anyway. And once you get it down, after a day or two of spraying, you won't have to measure, weigh, none of that anymore. You're just going to squeeze a bunch in to the cup, and you are good to go. So there you go, guys. That is the video. Anyway, thumbs up, and if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. And leave a comment, and don't forget to give me a notification, as we're always putting up videos weekly. I want to let you guys know that my where are they? My splash paints here, my pastel colors here, my anodized, my tricolors, which gives you that beautiful automotive look with the 2K look on top, are currently exclusively sold at here's the red. This is my pyro red. This is my nocturne red. Look at that. Oops. That's a beautiful color. Anyway, that's part of my lineup. I'll put a code below, May 15 for 15% off at Gundam Pros. They're the exclusive carriers of my paint now, and I believe once these are gone, they're gone. So if you're interested, grab them now. Use the code. And I'll put a link below and the code in the description. Let me put my paint up there behind me. Also, I'm working on a couple of things I want you guys to know before we say goodbye. My color shifts are back in stock. Shake them up because they're thin. And these sold out quickly, but they're back in stock right now. And thank you for this. This was a really big success story. I don't know where they are. They're behind me over here. I wanted to show you some of them. And I'm showing you this for one reason. This is one of my color shifts, and I put my all-new, this just came in today, satin clear coat. Airbrush ready. Go figure. It's pre-thinned. And it's a nice satin look. This was shiny. And I'll show you something else that had a shine to it. Oh, this one. This green was a super glossy paint. And now with my new satin clear coat on top, look at that nice satiny matte finish. And let me show you the difference. Follow me here, guys. Follow the spoon. Look at the color shift difference once I get it to the booth. Because the lighting in the booth is just superior for color shifts. I'm not quite sure. I have all different bulbs in there. You can see them. So one of those really gives you the nice reflective look. As we get back to the bench, let me put you in my holder here. And not quite. But look at that. I wanted to show you the nice satin finish. These are in stock right now. I believe there's only 20 bottles, but more is on its way. It's my first shipment of them. And I tested it. I like it. That is in stock as we speak. And this is part of my pastel line from Splash. This is Patronus Green, a color I've always wanted and developed. Look at that color, Patronus Green. That is also at Gundam Pros. Anyway, guys, that is the video. If you have any questions on thinning, leave a comment. I'll get back to you, and you won't have a problem at all just following these rules. Let's see what we are listening to today for music. We are in a bit of a thrash mode, I would say, huh? Oop, there goes the swallowtail. Here we go. What do we have today? Artillery, Flotsam and Jetsam, and Harlot. And I believe the bass player from Flotsam and Jetsam joined Metallica when Cliff Burton died, when their other bass player died. That's when I discovered the band. Actually, I had their first album anyway. Great band. Still putting out quality music, closer to power metal than thrash right now in their current state. But still, big fan of thrash metal, particularly these second-tier bands below, you know, the Metallicas and Exodus and Anthrax. These bands are all great. Quality stuff, been around for 30 years. These bands, well, Harlot's a newer band. The other guys have been around forever. Anyway, guys, that's what we're listening to. So, anyway, there you go. My color shifts are back in stock. My new satin clear coat is in stock right now at Gundam Pros. And my splash paints are on sale there, too. Anyway, like I said, any questions? Leave it below. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We will see you in the next video. You guys are awesome. You guys are the blessed. God bless you all. Have a great day.